Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to another video. I just finished reading my Bible, have my coffee in my very cute coffee mug. I started pulling out some of my fall mugs. I haven't pulled out all of them, but I need to. There's a box somewhere. I just can't remember where I put them, and I don't want to open up all my boxes to find them. So I am slowly but surely catching up on my reading plan. So I think after today I will be caught up. We are in Hosea now, and it's been very interesting reading it. I read it when did I read this? When I read Redeeming Love, I read through it, to see it, or to compare the two, and that was months ago. So rereading it and actually using my study Bible and just different things to really understand the passage. It's been really interesting. We're only 3 chapters in, 4. We'll eventually be 4 chapters in once I'm completely caught up. But it's so much. Even Hosea 3, which is only 4 verses, I'm I can pick out things in this. So that's been really good. But today, the most important thing to do is to read the last chapter of Galatians, or this Galatians commentary. It's for Galatians 6:11 through 18, because we do have Bible study today, and this is our last chapter in this book. But this will be what we finished for this year, and I think after this we're doing Philippians. So I'm done reading here. I'll probably read a little bit more later because I just read the stuff for the reading plan. And right now in my personal studies, I'm in 1 Thessalonians, so want to get some of that done, get this done, and yeah, so everyone. It is another day. I don't really remember what I've gotten so far, but for this video we are doing another few days in my quiet time, and I figured I'd just share with you guys what I'm reading. So far I'm caught up on the Bible reading plan and sending out all my daily encouragements, and I've just been reading in my personal what I'm doing. So for today's reading was, right now we're going through Hosea and then still going through Proverbs, but today we went through Proverbs 14, and it's been good. I like this proverb so far. the most. So I feel like sometimes you can read Proverbs and just be like, what is going on? It is just like very, is poetic the correct term? It's like, I don't know, sometimes like you really have to think to understand what it's saying. It's not as straightforward. And I felt like this Proverbs was more straightforward than the other ones. So I really liked the first two verses where it says, the wisest of women builds her house, but folly with her own hands tears it down. Whoever walks in uprightness fears the Lord, but he who is devious in his ways despises him. And I really like that because it really made me think about times where I'm literally doing the right thing. I'm following God, I'm following what he says, and then, you kind of get to this place like, oh, I got this. And then you literally destroyed everything that you were building, or you were working on, or you were doing. And I think we can be like that a lot of the times just because we are selfish humans. We are prideful, and it's something we have to work on. And that's why it's so important that we turn to God and read our Bible and just like commune with him daily, hourly, because we need him to do everything. Another verse that I really liked was verse 12, where it says, there is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way to death. And look at my notes. I put it's kind of like that same thing. Like we think we know. We think we are wise. We think we don't need God and his ways because we think we can do it ourselves. But our ways just lead to destruction, it leads to death. And God, something someone has said to me, I can't remember exactly where. If I figure it out, like, because it's in my other Bible, I'll put it on the screen. It's like God's view of what is good and what is good is different from the way we view good. He knows what is best for us. He knows all things. He's created all things. So his version of good, what he deems good, what is good for our lives, what is not good for our lives, it's so different than what we see, what we think. And I think that's so important when it comes to listening to God and trusting him. We need to trust in what he says is good for us and not what we think is good for us, because we don't know nothing. We know nothing. So those are just some main points that I really enjoyed from this passage. The last few days we've been going through Hosea, and if you haven't read Hosea, it's really good. It's pretty powerful. I can't remember if I spoke about it or not in any other clips, but basically we've gotten to the part in the first few chapters where God tells Hosea, you're going to marry a woman who will be unfaithful to you. And so he goes and marries this woman, and what happens? She becomes unfaithful. I don't think that he married a actual prostitute. I think he married a woman, and then she was later on unfaithful to him. And I think it's interesting how God uses the names of their kids to just prophesize. If I go back in my notes, the first child's name is Jezreel. I think I said that right, and it's like Hebrew for God sows. Beginning, God was bringing judgment to the people. God sows. He promises restoration to his people. So he's like planting that seed. One of the other kids, which we're not sure if it's actually Hosea's or not, is No Mercy. But it's for God will have no mercy on the house of Israel. And it's like so prophetic. And I think sometimes it's easy to read these other books in the Bible and just kind of like skim over them, but there's so much truth in them. And also I really want to do something that studies like Jesus' life and all the prophecy he fulfilled, because I know it's out there somewhere, but like I think that would just be easy. Or even just like in normal Old Testament ones. My pastor did a little bit on like, I think it was Daniel, and how like all those prophecies like were like just like things that were fulfilled, and like he's gone through a few of those, and that's really exciting because then you kind of see like how God is working everything out. Like there is a reason for every piece of the Bible, every word that is written, everything that's in there, it's there for a reason. And I think that's just amazing. But I've been really enjoying going through Hosea. I really enjoyed Hosea 3, but let me look at what my notes were for Hosea 2. I don't remember. I'll just read you a little bit of what I wrote. But here we see that Gomer and Israel have been unfaithful. They were provided for, but chose to cling to the sins of this world. Gomer chose her lovers that provided for her, over her husband, and Israel chose to worship false gods for the things God had provided them. There's just a lot of different things. I like, I've been using my Life Application Bible when studying do these things, and I just really like what it has to say. I like the way it breaks things down, and I just put like how Hosea, like the beginning, and how people are unfaithful, just reminds me of like Romans 1, because in Romans 1, 24 to 28, you know, you see different things where God gives them up to the lust of their hearts, God gives them up to dishonorable passions, and God gives them up to a debased mind. And you know, sometimes we refuse to acknowledge God, and he steps back. He takes his hands off, just like he did for Israel. He took his hands off of Israel, took his blessings off, and let it go. And when God takes his hands off of things, like, you can see the blessings leaving. You can see all the evil that is truly in this world, and how much God was truly doing, how much God provides. Sometimes that's what it takes to see how God is working. So, and then for Hosea 3, because I really enjoyed Hosea 3, and it's only 4 verses, and this is when God tells Hosea to take his wife back. Just some things that I took away from those verses, and was one, that Hosea's testimony was powerful. You know, he had to be, one, courageous and truly trusting of God to, one, marry a woman who he knew was going to be unfaithful and take her back, and also just to prophesy to the people and tell them, like, you know, God's taking away your blessings, like, it's your fault. So, you know, it's a powerful testimony. And then I also put, you know, God's love for us goes beyond our sinful and unfaithful behavior. He created us knowing we would sin. He loves us knowing we sin, and sent Christ to die for us. Knew he would have to send Christ to us because of our sin. So I just think about God's love for us, and how great, and how I don't understand it. I just wanted to share some tidbits with you guys. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep this going for another few days, but I just want to share what I have been learning. So yeah, so if you guys like these type of videos, definitely check out my channel. I think I have a few more, and I'm creating a playlist, so I can leave that link down below if you guys would like to see more of my quiet times. So I will see you guys in my next video.